I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, and this is a series of 3 reviews for John, the Flawed one. He very nicely sent me a request via PayPal for a couple movies, including these. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. I thank everyone who has done that. If anyone out there is ever interested in requesting a review, a re-review, a commentary, a movie topic, or anything of that sort, you can either join me on my Patreon, or you can send a request directly via PayPal. The links to both are down in the info box. If not, no worries. If so, thank you. But the 3 90s Ninja Turtle live action films. Obviously, if you look at my channel, you know I'm a big fan of these characters. I grew up with them. I grew up with the 80s cartoon, and then that transitioned to the 1990 film. Did not see this in the theater, but I saw it on VHS tape. This and the second film, Secret Reviews, I saw multiple times on VHS, to the point that I remember the trailers. I mean, the first one, there's this thing about baseball, you know, making it great. Trailers. I think it was the second film where it's Big Girls Don't Cry, They Did Even, there's Suburban Commando, things Surf Ninjas. So I grew up with these a lot, and the first film is still great. I think it still holds up fairly well. Getting back to what I was saying before I go on with that, the third film, I'll get to that. I'm always wishy-washy on it. I would say I more disliked it than liked it. There was talks of a fourth film. I saw the 2003 cartoon, fell humongously in love with it. I saw it, as I'm following my words, when it debuted back in 2003. Tried to catch it whenever I could. Loved the hell out of it. It's become my favorite cartoon. Yes, I'm one of those guys that would read fan fiction stories just because from 1993 to 2003, there was kind of a dead air for turtle stuff other than Next Mutation and some comics. I mean, the Coming Out of Their Shells tour, not really the high life of Turtles, anything. You know, the 2007 TMNT movie, I more disliked it than liked it, but it does have its merits. And the Michael Bay produced 2 movies are pieces of fucking trash. The 2012 cartoon, I liked the first season and a half, maybe 2 seasons after that. I thought it went down to the dumpster fire. Rise of the TMNT might be called Rise of the Taints, because they all smell like fucking taints. They all look like fucking taints. If I look in the mirror at my taint, that's what these Rise of the Tater Tots fucking look like. That's just my opinion. Going back to this, I thought it was interesting that for the first film, they did not go more towards the cartoon. It's pretty surprising when you think about it, because the cartoon is what became... There was the comic books, which were much more serious and dark. That's trying to be sort of a parody on stuff of Daredevil and other things, but at the same time being still violent and dark. I would love to see that live action, but you'll never see it. Just Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon ain't gonna do that shit. But then they have these toys. How do we sell the toys? Let's have a cartoon. The cartoon will last a couple episodes. Wow, people really like this cartoon, so keep it going. And then that became the phenomenon because of the cartoon, which is why even nowadays, why do people mainly reference the cartoon? Because that was the thing that became the big firework. The explosive firework that did not create the characters, it created the phenomenon of the characters. It's a positive because then you're able to get these other movies and cartoons. It's a negative because now it will always be compared to that, and that will always be the focus. And when people say Turtles, it will 90% of people will go back to the 80s cartoon if they think of what Turtles are. Eating pizza, being goofy, and that's it. That doesn't have to be a bad thing. They do that here. They do be goofy and eating pizza. But at least with a film, and I like the second film, that's goofy. There's goofy stuff in this as well. And for that time it especially worked. But nowadays, it would be nice to see, I would say something else, but granted the Michael Bay produced films could be considered something else, but something else doesn't mean four mongoloid steroid abusing fuck faces with clay face, dick sucking lips, and too much fucking Botox. Mongoloid motherfuckers bumping around, getting stuck in sewer pipes and mighty farting in people's faces. Maybe just be being crazy. But the first movie, Steve Barron directed it. Apparently after this, Spielberg and his kid watched it, and Steven Spielberg actually approached the director to do the film Casper. The guy said no, and Steve Barron, I know he regretted that decision afterwards. Again, considering the cartoon was so much more popular, it's surprising that they didn't try to just replicate the cartoon. Where, let's copy and paste elements of their cartoon in here. Instead, Steve Barron and them really wanted to, as much as they could, in a rated GPG element, go back to the original source material. So they still have their color bandanas, but they'll curse, at least to a point, damn, being the big one. The origin of Splinter, where he was a rat and he saw his sensei murdered, and he got, in this case, got a piece of his ear cut off. And you watch it and you go, wow, there is some fairly serious moments. I mean, Raphael, one of our characters, gets put through a fucking skylight and put into a fucking coma. Splinter, he's chained up, and look at him, you know, he was just beating the shit out of. In the original concept, I mean, the original cut, Tatsu, the bald subordinate of Shredder, with the array of students, kills one of them, kills one of the students. And they check on him, and the guy's fucking dead. He's dead, D-O-A-D-E-D, dead. Yeah, I know, I'm just making sure. D-E-A-D, dead. Dead as fuck. But they cut that. And they cut a lot of stuff out. You know, I know there's hashtag release the Steyer cut. How about hashtag release the Turtles cut? How about you release the full version of this movie with all deleted scenes, like the extended training sequences? Or how about the scene where Mighty is in a barn beating the shit out of stuff that's in the fucking comic book adaptation? And plus you realize when April is drawing the Turtles, she never draws Mighty. Bullshit. She drew Mighty. He was pissed off. He was beating the fuck out of stuff. There's even a shot where he's screaming and you see the nunchucks, but they put Raphael's voice in there. And there's other stuff too that was cut out, but that's just some of the major ones. But I mean, part of me is like, what more can I say about this movie? Judith Hoag is April O'Neil. She does a very solid job. Before this, she had worked on Cadillac Man with Robin Williams, and apparently Robin Williams was a Ninja Turtle fan, because Judith Hoag had told a story about Robin Williams giving her some comics to look at during the making of Cadillac Man, which is pretty cool. Rest in peace, Robin. But she was strong, she was not bitchy, she was not annoying, she was capable lady. Elias Koteas was fantastic as Casey Jones. He had a great sense of humor. Pain 101. Your instructor's Casey Jones. Very likable. I would love to have seen a solo film with him. That's how good he was. To me, I know Elias Koteas never wants to talk about this movie, but I'm sorry, I think it's the best role he's ever played because of how likable and he's likable. He was tough, but he was funny, but he wasn't parody. I could take him seriously and being a tough guy, but at the same time it wasn't too over dramatic. Elias Koteas is easily the best Casey Jones to this day. The Turtles, I love Jim Henson's. I love the turtle designs. I love the practical effects. I loved little bits like Raphael having a star on his cheek. I love the voice actors. Josh Pais as Raphael. I love the fact that they give Raphael a New York, like, Brooklyn voice. Like, what the fuck? He doesn't say football. What do you think you're doing? You want to fuck with me? Yeah, he doesn't curse, but in my movie, he would curse. What the fuck you want, Leo? Get the fuck out. Robbie Rist, who is Michelangelo, the voice of him in the 3 live-action 90s films. Yeah, I thought he was perfect as Mighty. He had that childlike exuberance and energy. And I thought he fit the Mighty person. Anytime I think of Mighty, I think of Robbie Rist's voice. I thought Brian Tochi was great as the voice of Leonardo. He voiced Leo in all 3 of the films as well. And yeah, anytime I think of Leo, I think of Brian Tochi. Leo, he was a leader, but he wasn't a fucking two-faced dickhead like in the 2007 CGI movie. And he brought that leadership quality, but at the same time was not too much of a head up his ass, stick up his ass. The only voice actor I did not care for was Corey Feldman. I'm sorry. I think Adam Carl, the guy in the second film, was a much more fitting, much better voice actor than Corey Feldman. And also, as much as I love the film, there's actual martial arts. Unlike the Michael Bay produced movies, there's actual martial arts in this fucking film. And yeah, would I have liked to have seen the Turtles in more and less of fucking Danny in his fucking Sid shirt? Yes. But the Turtles are in the film within 5 minutes. Opening credits, there's the Turtles. It's not like that, at least in the 2014 Michael Bay bullshit. I love the design. Most of the voice actors. Kevin Clash, I thought the Splinter puppet looked great. I like the seriousness it brought in, whether it be the death of Splinter's sensei and the sensei's wife. I mean, it's kind of crazy. You have a kids film, you have little kids smoking cigarettes. You won't have that shit today. And Sam Rockwell, before being famous, he was in that. Regular or menthol, these cigarettes. And yeah, you have kids being used for crime sprees and to steal shit and smoke fucking cigarettes. Nowadays it'd be weed, but just saying. And yeah, that is kind of crazy when you think of a kids film. And the way it was shot, where the streets were wet and the dark tunnels, and even at nighttime had a little bit of a gloomy look and feel to it. Granted, it's not Seven, David Fincher film, but definitely not bright, cheery, sunshiny days like some kids' films at the time. And I thought the martial arts, when they appeared, they were well done for what they had to be. I didn't. There's some lines of dialogue that are kind of crazy when you think about it. Funny, but crazy. Like, you're claustrophobic. Oh yeah, you want to punch in the mouth? I never even looked at a guy. I mean, there's not a lot of kids, well, at least back then, not a lot of kids films that would use claustrophobic, but the guys mentioned, pretty much, Casey Jones thought Donnie called him gay. Not that there's anything bad with that. But that's not really something that you would even think about in this type of film now, back then. Some would say even nowadays. And I thought that the Turtles worked well. I loved, like T mentioned, the designs, the music. I thought the score fit the film like a glove. I'm not even going to try to hum it because I do a bad job trying to hum songs, or music I should say. Even some of the songs, I mean the ending, the turtle power. Yeah, I don't know why the fuck they said Raphael was the leader of the group. Apparently they didn't see the movie, but I mean hell, what can you do? It's still a good song. So I love the look of the film. I think Steve Barron, I like it's goofy, silly, but there's still bits of serious here and there. There's some nice heartfelt moments. When Raphael wakes up with a coma and him and Leo have a good Brokeback Mountain. Okay, it's not that far of a moment, but some could construe as a Brokeback Mountain. But this would be a different because they're brothers, so Bro Says Fountain. That'd be a sequel to this, Bro Says Fountain. What's that? You don't want to know. Shellback Mountain. Although, yes, that is different because they are brothers, so it'd be a different ballgame than Brokeback Mountain. I just mentioned that because people have made videos making fun of that stuff. When you look at Ninja Turtle stuff, people will make any type of video. Apparently, they made, sadly, there have been thumbnails of this while I was looking up Ninja Turtle stuff. Apparently, people have drawn them sucking each other's dicks. So that was some good info to find out. I mean, God forbid I curse too much. But if one kisses another brother and shells clink together, whatever, that's okay. But if I curse too much and say fuck, then that is against the YouTube law. But hey, what do I know? Hey, you do you. Maybe that's not the right phrase to say. But hey, yeah. Okay. That's kind of a showstopper right there. God damn, get out of my fucking head, please. Thank you. Well, I was saying there were more heartfelt moments. That is a good heartfelt moment where Leo apologizes and Raph says, no, you don't have to apologize. The sequence around the fire and they see Splinter. The moment earlier on where Raphael is tearing up and Splinter's trying to comfort him. So again, there's some good moments. I do think, as much as I love the film, is there stuff I have issues with? Sure. Danny, I don't give a fuck about Danny. I don't give a fuck about him and his father. I don't give a fuck about their story. You know how I feel about their story? That's how I feel about their story. That shit could have been cut out. If I was some big time producer, I'd be like, cut that shit out. We don't need that shit. They're watching Ninja Turtles. They're watching some fucking after school special with, ooh, Danny, don't go to the game, Danny. Who gives a fuck? I don't give a fuck about him or his Sid shirt. Give me the shirt. Or give it to one of the turtles. Let them wear the shirt. They can wear shirts. Ain't against the law. So I don't give a fuck about that. I don't give a fuck about... Well, it's not that I don't give a fuck, but I think one mistake they made on a screenplay level, they should have had... They built up the Raphael character. Granted, he's my favorite, so I'm partial to the character. I think Josh Pais did a great job with the voice. It seemed like they were building him up much like Wolverine and X-Men. People think I'm stretching, but think about this. They focused quite a bit on Wolverine, just like here, they focused quite a bit on Raphael. He's the one who loses his weapon. He's the one who gets April O'Neil, saves her from the foot, rescues her, and then he gets beaten up and put into a coma, but then doesn't really follow through with that. You could have had Raphael if, okay, you don't want him to face off Shredder. I don't know why not, but like Tatsu, have him be the one to save his dad. You know, earlier you have the scene between him and Splinter. Have him, as much as I like Elias, Koteas, and Casey Jones, have Raphael be the one to save his dad. And have a face-off with Tatsu. He got beaten up before, but, you know, this time he'll do it because he's not thinking about himself, he's thinking about his family. I mean, we've seen movies do this, where characters have a different mindset, and then they'll do better. I think you could have done that. That's just my opinion. Also, it seemed as if they wanted to hint at April O'Neil liking Raphael or vice versa, but they didn't want to go and deal with it. And no, I'm not saying they need to fuck, but you could have a friendship that doesn't involve fucking. Or even a romance that doesn't involve fucking. Maybe eventually they'll fuck, but when you have Raphael always seems like he's blushing, he's getting pissed off about it, but then you don't do any. That's the thing with this, is that they don't want to follow through with it. They don't bring it up in the first place. And the other little thing, granted, you just say there's more with the second one, but they didn't know they were making a second film. I think it would have worked better if all four turtles beat up Shredder. I mean, the scene with Splinter was nice, but I think it would have been better if all four turtles, by working together, they beat the fuck out of Shredder. And then toss him out. In fact, you have Raphael toss him out. That could be his moment. I don't know, he saves Mighty or something. Or saves Leo or something. And tosses his ass over. Just some things in my head that screenplay-wise I wouldn't say fixed, because other people, they're fine with it. Fixing, you know, in my opinion, that's how I would rather it go. But as a movie, I think the actors, Shredder, I like the look of Shredder, I like the voice of Shredder. He seemed intimidating. The jokes, I do think Corey Feldman's Donatello, Sally is Mighty Part 2. They didn't need to make him a Mighty clone. And maybe they're like, well, we got fucking Corey Feldman. What the fuck we gonna do? Is Corey Feldman really gonna be Are we gonna buy Corey Feldman as a fucking genius scientist? Nah. Just make them fucking like Mighty. Just fucking erase all the shit and just write whatever. The guy, you know, he had drug problems anyway. He's doing this for a paycheck. Just do it. Okay, USA. So, even as a guy, hit the microphone, even as a guy that loved the film, even I should admit, yes, there are flaws for me. But I think there's much more positives than that. Because of the look of the film, the look of the turtles, the voice of the... I like the camaraderie of the turtles. There's a lot of nice little moments. That's one reason I love the sequel as well. Maybe it's not many serious moments, but family moments, yes. I don't know why this never got a special edition, this movie. It's ridiculous. A lot of people enjoy it for a lot of reasons I do, where they like the look and sound and the voice acting, the other human characters like Judith and Elias, and the music. I think John Duprez, I believe. Could be wrong. The score. The Jim Henson suit work. Martial arts, the bits of seriousness. It's fun, it's charming, it works well as a kid's movie, but there's enough serious moments that older folks can watch as well. So, Ninja Turtles from 1990 is still a damn good movie, and we still haven't had the uncut version or big special edition of it. I mean, it's only 2020. It's only, I don't know, the anniversary that passed, and barely jack shit happened. I don't give a fuck about some... I know, I mean, to be fair, it's they did like a Skype pizza party thing. I don't care about some fucking Skype chat. If that's the best that can be done, that's fucking sad, in my opinion. In my opinion. We're done with the 10th anniversary. We're done for the 20th anniversary. How about the 20th anniversary? Could have done something for that, but no. How about 25th? 25th anniversary? Nope, can't do anything with that. Nope. It was only a huge fucking hit for New Line Cinema when they were releasing almost all their New Line Cinemas. So many of their New Line Cinemas were doing these special editions, but not this film. I don't know why. I don't get it. But what do I know? Either way, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.